guess for me, the word from the camp team that means the most is the word alone. Because I guess it links a bit to last year's camp, and how like last year was you are God alone. It was really just about His Majesty. And this year, the word seek Him alone really just reminds me that God should be the only thing we seek after for guidance and for like direction in our lives. And I guess one thing that strikes me is that to seek Him alone is not about seeking God and not anything else in your life. That means it doesn't mean that we don't seek after. Doesn't mean that we don't seek to glorify God in other areas of our lives, but it's more to seek Him as the one guidance, as our one hope in any aspect.
For me, seeking is not like an action, but it's attitude lah. Because like, if you think about it, right, you're seeking a God who is everywhere, like here, everywhere. So if you cannot find Him, you're really dumb lah. So, right, it's not about being able to locate God, where God is, because God is always like around you. God wants to come into your heart, but it's about opening your heart. So seeking is opening your heart. And Hebrews 10:22 says, "Let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled to cleanse us from a guilty conscience and having our bodies washed with pure water." And so ultimately seeking to me is coming before God unashamed and knowing that God accepts you for who you are and finding God in that.
Okay. Why? A little bit. Okay, seriously. Okay, my wish and my hope for camp is that we as a church, we will come together and we will be the body of Christ. And that comes from understanding, who Christ is and the depth of His affection for us. You see, it says, right, that we are the bride of Christ, and that means, okay, sorry, yeah, and His love for us, right, is beyond what we can, ever imagine, right? And so, in essence, right, my desire is that we will come to camp, and we will meet God, right? We will experience Him, in a way that we have never experienced Him before. We will go deeper, you see, and from there we will learn, who He is. We will grow deeper into this walk with Him, this intimacy, and from there, life, just won't be the same. See, won't, because to live is Christ, to die is gain, right? And we understand that Christ is so much more. This life is so much more joyous, so much more meaningful, so much more, everything, even more pleasurable, not in the weird sense, but than anything the world can offer. You see, because we were made for Christ, right? And we are called, His bride. We are called His people. Now, and it says, right, I pray that you may have, you may understand, along with all the saints, how wide, how long, how high, how deep is the love of Christ, and this love surpasses knowledge. So let's know God's affection for us, and let's move on as a church, resting in His love, rejoicing in Him. Yeah. For the campus, I suppose, is that they will learn to see God not as a list not as an item on the list of priorities. It's like God is not first on the list, because to me, God shouldn't be part of the list alone. He's greater than the list, and God is the paper that makes the list. And similarly, my second hope for campus is that they will learn to see God not as a thing, not as one part of the things they see in their lives, but as the glasses they wear. So I suppose the seeking comes when, if you seek God with all your heart and all your soul, you will get His glasses and His perspective, and that is more important. It's the most important thing.
Hope that camp will be fun.
Yes, have fun in camp and seek God at camp.
Have fun with your friends and find God. Seek God, find God.
Okay. Anyway, when you come for camp, please come with an open heart. I know it's said a lot, right? But it says that, right? It's biblical. Seek Him, you'll find Him. You seek Him with all your heart, and God honestly wants to find you. Like honestly, and so please come, with a heart, that's ready to allow Him to work. Come with a heart of worship, come with a heart that worships Him. And just be ready to leave behind anything of this world. Be ready to leave behind, yourself. In the sense that you're living for yourself. Please just get ready to leave behind everything and just seek God. Just come and press in all that God is.